So, continuing with this Sonic retrospective, I'm deviating from the mainline games to talk about something different. We all know this guy, right? The red Luigi guy from the other Japanese company everybody knows. He's been doing his own thing racing karts since the early 90s, and other mascots have had their fair share of racing games of course, and Sonic was no different. Now if my audience is correct, I believe most of you guys that clicked on this video are indeed Sonic fans, and I'm pretty sure you guys know where this is all going. Sonic has been in a car since the late 90s, and unlike Mario, he did not get a new racing game to come out with each generation of consoles, mainly because there were no consoles for these racing games to come out with. Oh yeah, and the games they made were pretty bad too, I'm gonna be honest with you. It started with Sonic Drift on the Game Boy Advance, which I mistakenly said was an answer to Super Mario Kart back on the SNES back in my Sonic Riders video. It's not, I just want to clarify that right now. And we haven't really seen any other Sonic racing games besides the sequel to this game, and Sonic R. Granted, the Sonic Drift duology came out before the Dreamcast even hit store shelves, but the Dreamcast was such a colossal failure that they didn't really get a chance to experiment with the racing game on the system before they went third party, so we all know where this goes from here. Sonic Riders came out in 2006 for the Nintendo GameCube, having Sonic back in a racing setting since his days on the Saturn. Well, if you don't count these games, but we aren't there yet. 2 years from the release of the original Sonic Riders, we got the sequel, Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. And while this game isn't as favorable to everyone, especially if you aren't a blue duck like I am, it was always nice to see the fastest character alive actually race from time to time. Even if it always bothered me that Sonic had to use a gear. At least it made sense for his universe. It fits, and it's honestly really cool for Sonic's character. And honestly, Sonic is probably one of the only video game characters that can do hoverboards without them feeling forced, at least in my opinion. Now, Sonic Riders Zero Gravity isn't the last Sonic Riders game. We all know where Sonic Riders went after this. I know there's a mod for that to be able to play that game with a controller, but I don't really count that because I played in 100% of the game when I was younger. And I want to be thorough. I want to do it again for YouTube, and I will definitely be doing that again when I get my own place. But you guys can help out, hit that subscribe button. E3 2009, oh man, that just made me feel old. E3 2009, a brand new Sonic racing game from the studio Sumo Digital, the same creators that did the Sega Super Stars tennis game, which released the same year Sonic Riders Zero Gravity came out on the Xbox 360. This will be a fun game to look at in the future. I've never played it, I've only seen reviews, and I've only played the Xbox Live Arcade demo that was available at the time, but the game in question we are talking about, as you can tell by the title of this video,
Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing!
Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing. A pretty down-to-earth racing game if I say so myself. I played the hell out of this game when I was rocking a 360. This and Sonic Generations were my main Sonic games around this time. Now you heard that correctly, I got this game after I got Sonic Generations. So by the time I finally got to playing this game, the sequel to this game was already on its way, and honestly that's so funny now that I think about it. When I say this is an honest racing game, I mean it. There's no story mode or anything. This is just your normal racing experience, and I'm starting to see why it ranked so well with reviewers. Those smooth-brained individuals can learn how to play a Sonic game if they tried, so yeah, that makes sense. A Sonic game that plays more like a traditional racer would click more with the less creative. Okay, I'm being mean, but that's low-key how I used to think when it came to this game and to the people that enjoyed it before I ended up getting the game. Why, you may ask? Because I was and still am the biggest Sonic Riders defender. These games just don't scratch that itch for me. This game is great, don't get me wrong, but every time I play this game, I'm just telling myself in the back of my mind, I could just go play Sonic Riders right now and have more fun doing that. Or even worse, if I'm feeling frisky, if I want to go to the other side, I just go play Mario Kart, which at the time, Mario Kart 7 was the most recent Mario Kart. Again, I got this game a whole ass year after it released initially. I got it for Christmas, so about a month or so after Sonic Generations came out. I got that game day one. There was no way in hell I was missing that game. I literally begged my mom to buy me the game as soon as it dropped. I actually had a similar situation to Scott the Woz when he wanted Mario Kart Wii. Instead of saying, can you buy it now and I'll open it later, I just annoyed the hell out of my family until they said screw it and they decided to give me the game. I will go more in detail when I eventually talk about Sonic Generations again. But a month later during Christmas, I fully expected them not to give me anything because I basically got what I wanted, and that's when I saw one medium-sized box with my name on it. I opened that box, and inside the wrapper was a shoebox with 3 games inside: Call of Duty Black Ops 1, Sonic Unleashed, and Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing. I would have assumed Generations would have been part of that haul if I didn't beg them for it, but the number of times they walked in on me playing Green Hill Zone Act 2 thanks to the free demo that dropped right before the game came out, I mean, they had to get me the game eventually, right? I noticed the racing game in the shoebox first, as it was the first game I saw, and I was more excited to play that game first because I already had my fair share of Sonic Unleashed and Generations, even though I didn't own Unleashed for myself at the time. Yes, this game also had a free demo on the Xbox Live Arcade, which had 2 playable characters, Sonic the Hedgehog and Banjo Kazooie, my first introduction to this character. I didn't know this was an Xbox collab until I got much older, as Microsoft owns Rareware, or Rare nowadays. And what have they done with Banjo nowadays? I couldn't have chose a worse time to make this video. Well, at least you're in Smash, little buddy. Releasing February 23rd, 2010 for the Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, and Nintendo DS, which I probably won't talk about the DS version until the end of the video because I never played it. I acknowledge its existence because I know there are probably hundreds of people that grew up with this version of the game, but I didn't, and I honestly forgot it existed until I started doing research for this video. I don't have a 360, and honestly I wanted to wait until I got one to be thorough for this video, but I want to mod a 360, and trying to find one of those is trying to find Sonic's love for Amy past 2010, so yeah, I guess. Also, with this game being more popular than the Riders series, I thought this game would have a little bit more to its modding scene, so who the fuck is lying? This game got DLC in form of Metal Sonic and a new track based in the Death Egg Hangar, which is pretty solid in terms of layout. But this is nowhere to be found on the Steam version of the game, and this game has pretty solid reviews all around. Is this the only Sonic game that isn't definitive on PC? Go on Game Bananas, there's nothing but shader fixes and save files. I wonder why no one went out of their way to restore these features to the PC version of the game. And then I looked to see that no one even wanted to make a UI restoration for this game. Then it hit me. This game isn't as popular as the defenders of this game would make you think it is. And I'm not trying to say just because this game doesn't have mod support that it's bad, but even the worst Sonic games have mod support to at least try to make them a little better. Look at Chaos X, he remade a whole ass game that is considered to be one of the worst games in the series out of pure spite and will. Yet there's no Metal Sonic mod on Game Banana for this game. What is going on? Are you sure this game is popular? This game technically has 3 different versions, 4 if you count the Steve version of this game. The only differences being visuals and which exclusive characters are in the game. The Xbox 360 got Banjo Kazooie as stated earlier. The Wii has Mii characters, and by extension Xbox 360 can also use the avatars. The PS3 has nobody, excluding the Metal Sonic DLC. Would have been a good excuse to throw Sackboy in this game, but I'm not a billion-dollar studio, so it's okay. It's kind of weird going from the 360 version of this game to this version. I've always noticed when this game was played on PC, you know, the lack of buttons on the UI, but really? Not a single exclusive character? Hell, not even the Metal Sonic DLC? Why? Why did no one ask this before this game got a Steam release? It came out like a couple months after. When I said this game was down to earth, I really meant it. Take your standard racing game around this time and give it a slight mix of a certain game I like to call Mario Kart, and boom, Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing. This game controls more like a traditional racer, using the left and right triggers to drift and drive respectively. The handling and the controls in this game feel really well. It can be a little stiff at times, but it's just to over exemplify the game's drift mechanic, as that's going to be the main way you're building up crazy amounts of speed here. Item play is here too, a staple in any mascot racer, but I just can't help but feel like they put no thought into these items. These are ripped straight from Mario Kart Wii. You have your green and red attack items, defensive items, comeback items, and single and triple speed items. In Mario Kart, the ultimate catch-up item was the Bullet Bill, or Star if you're playing earlier than Mario Kart DS, or it can also be the Shock depending on who you ask. But in this game we have a new comeback mechanic. Not necessarily new if you played Sega Super Stars Tennis, but the All-Star mechanic. This being a character special item. This only shows up when you're falling behind, and 9 times out of 10 they're really good callbacks to special moves that other characters can do. Sonic in Shadow goes super, Eggman turns his Eggmobile into a mech and starts shooting rockets, Tails can create a tornado with the What? Big summons Froggy, and Jesus Christ, how can a frog get that big? Zobito and Zobiko is probably my favorite because of the music and just how funny this animation looks. And the point of these moves is to shoot you towards the straight of the pack, quite literally in the case of Jackie and Akura. So yeah, a very inspired racing game from Sumo Digital here. I enjoy this game, I really do, but I can't play it for longer than 30 minutes because this game is piss easy, which probably explains why this game got a higher rating than Sonic Riders. So, I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is a very opinionated video. You're not getting that many facts here. Hell, it even sounds like I'm bashing this game. I promise you I'm not, but I do want to jump in here and say, while I was editing this video, I found a video by a creator called Game Facts Special going through the development history of this game, and I highly recommend you go watch this right now. Even though I did have a soft spot for this game, don't get me wrong, it's not my favorite game to come back to, but I definitely have a newer level of respect for it now because of this video. So if you guys can, after this video, or right away if you want, go check this video out for the definitive history of how this game works. This is just a very opinionated video on my end, and I want to get these out basically as soon as possible before Sonic Racing Crossroads. Anyway, back to the video. This game has a plethora of music to race to. This soundtrack goes past just Sonic music, I mean with the whole Sega All Stars thing going on here, but I am not letting you guys forget Sama de Janeiro. Unlocking stages and new characters in this game is, I don't know, more traditional. Every time you complete a race in game, you are rewarded with Sega Miles, and Sega Miles is how you purchase new characters, racetracks, and songs for said tracks. It feels kinda weird racing with an instrumental of Eggman's SA2 theme when the only time we've ever heard it was in cutscenes. Honestly, I think this is the first Sonic game that doesn't have any original music in it, besides like the theme, the main theme of this game, if this game even has one. This is indeed a racing game that I recommend to get the most out of. You have to play with a group of people. Find 4 Xbox controllers. Hell, load up USB Loader GX and play this game on a Wii. I'm pretty sure more people are more willing to have 4 Wiimotes than they are to have 4 Xbox controllers. So Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing is a pretty familiar racing game in terms of mechanics and how it plays. But how do the vibes feel when you're playing this game? How do you feel when you're playing this game? Well, for a second opinion, we're gonna switch over to my friend Silver, and he's gonna tell you how he feels about this game. Silver, go ahead and take the stand.
Hey guys, Silver here, and I just wanted to join in to talk about how much I love Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing. As a huge Sega fan, this game alongside the other Sega All Stars games like Super Stars Tennis and Transformed are very special to me. But going back to the first All Stars Racing game, what I love about this game is just the huge amount of fan service there is. Not only do I love the roster of characters, but I love the attention to detail that they put for each character. Like how Shadow's vehicle is his motorcycle from Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic 06, or how Tails drives a version of the Tornado, or how Ryo Hazuki from Shenmue drives his iconic forklift. The amount of fan service in All Stars Racing is the main thing that it has over Transform, despite Transform still being the greatest car racer ever in my opinion. Also, huge respect to Sumo Digital for taking the time to reach out to each individual development team for these Sega games in order to make sure that each character is being properly represented in this game. Plus, what other game am I able to play as the Bonanza Bros while throwing bombs at other racers? As for the actual gameplay itself, it's really good too. The controls are great, and pulling off a drift as long as possible in order to get a huge boost is very satisfying. As for my favorite racetracks in the game, they would have to be Roulette Road from Sonic Heroes, Shibuya Downtown from Jet Set Radio, and Monkey Target and Treetops from Super Monkey Ball. As for my favorite characters to play as, they would have to be Shadow, Ai, B, Rio, and the Bonanza Bros. But anyways, thanks for letting me talk about the Mario Kart Wii Killer.
The Mario Kart Wii Killer is kinda crazy. Anyway, thanks for the opinion, Silver. I appreciate you for coming around. This game was an introduction to me for some of these Sega characters. Alex Kidd, Zobito and Zobiko as mentioned. Oppa from Phantasy Star. This character, this is sick. I love racing as him in this game, but we've never seen him again after this. He was in Sonic Riders. He was aboard in Sonic Riders. But I don't know, this has the same energy as taking Rob as a character and turning him into a cart. there's so much I like about this game, but there isn't enough for me to want to come back and play it as often. When I talk about the game, the only thing that comes to my mind are the good things that I remember. To summarize this game, it's a really cool novelty game to pick up. You pick up if you've never tried it. If you've played it, it's good to come back to see what you've missed, but kind of like going back to Sonic Riders Zero Gravity for people that enjoy the original Sonic Riders, there's just not enough to keep me there. This game actually has no modding community. Absolutely none. That shocks me to this day. This game has no modding community. No custom characters, no custom tracks. Hell, I don't even think people are importing custom music to this game. And I hope this video can change that. Hell, I would love to see the Metal Sonic DLC get restored at least. I'm really not gonna drag this video, as this video wasn't meant to be that long anyway, as like I said, I'm just doing this leading up to the release of Sonic Racing Crossroads. Obviously, I'll let you guys know more and keep you guys updated in my Discord server, link in the description if you'd like to join, hang out, chat. My Discord server is the best way to get in touch with me though. I can't catch myself using any social medias, that's just not for me. Ever since I deleted Instagram back in 2022, I just haven't found it in me to try to grow another social media platform that isn't YouTube. Even if I did have a Twitter or anything like that, I wouldn't post on it, so who knows, that might bite me in the back, I don't know. But I'm gonna wrap up this video now. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Like I said, a little smaller video today just talking about this game. My next video will be on Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing Transformed, or Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. I don't know, that title still confuses me to this day. What do you think about this game? I'd like to hear your opinion on this game. Do you play it from time to time? Do you like to come back to it from time to time? What do you play it on? Do you play it on PlayStation, Xbox, Wii, Xenia, Steam? You let me know in the comment section below. I love to hear your thoughts. My modders, if we can at least get the Metal Sonic DLC restored in this game, you will forever have my heart greatly. Scrolling down the Game Banana page for this game literally made me sad. And before I forget to mention this, as I'm doing this in the outro, this game has a mission mode. 60 missions you can play. 60. That is a lot. I don't even know anybody that's done this in real life. Now, I've done all of these missions. These missions go from easy, real easy, probably something you can do with your eyes closed, to what the f am I doing? Why can't I beat this? I won't lie, it took me about 2.5 hours to beat this boss, and I still haven't done it on camera. I don't think I'm ever gonna do this on camera. Fuck this fight. This is probably gonna be a really bad analogy because the average Sonic fan doesn't play Geometry Dash. So with this example, say the first 60 missions, or maybe like the first 50 missions, are pretty easy. They're about Stereo Madness to about Back on Track difficulty. They're really easy. Maybe base after base at the most. Again, this is a completely different analogy. I feel like only my Geometry Dash players will get it. But the last 5 missions, the last 10 missions, Tartarus difficulty. Now we're just on the demon list. You know what I mean? I don't like. Did I just compare a Sonic racing game to 2 Geometry Dash levels? Am I on fucking drugs? That's like the one thing about the mission mode that I don't like. The difficulty doesn't feel like it scales correctly, because like the first 60 missions, or like the first 50 or so missions are really easy. But those last 10, and then the boss fight being hard, because if you get hit, you lose time. I'm good on that. I don't think I'm ever going to play this mission mode again, mainly because this mission mode was just, the difficulty balance was just off. Is it a skill issue? 100%. I'm not gonna say it is, but it's not a skill issue that makes me want to get better. It's a skill issue that makes me want to complain. So that's what I'm doing right now. Where would I place this game on the tier list? I definitely would be like B tier probably. I don't want to give it C tier because as much as it is just Mario Kart Wii with Sonic, this game does have some charm. Like, it introduced being able to drift charge 3 times, something that even the other Japanese company couldn't even get their hands off of. But having a Sonic racing game with a personal Sega jukebox is really cool. I don't see a lot of people talking about that, mainly because a lot of the songs in this game are from franchises that aren't as memorable as the Sonic series. Jet Set Radio has the concept of love, and you only hear it when people are memeing this game. I personally think this game is worth a go if you've never played it before. Hell, even if you've played All Stars Racing Transform, I still think you should see where the series gets its footing. Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing is a very strange one for me. I don't hate this game. I won't even say this game is bad, but it's just not the Sonic racing game that I want to come back to. Tough luck coming from the Sonic Riders fan, right? This game killed it with the fan service, the music, the track design. This is a genuinely good game. I'm not taking that away from this game. I think it's a me thing. I don't know, this game game just doesn't appeal to me as much as Sonic Riders, or hell, even its sequel, which we'll talk about next week if I can get that video out on time. But once again, I would just like to thank Silver Kid for joining along. I really appreciate that. I will leave his link in the description below. Go and check him out. If you guys did enjoy this video, like I said, please tell me what you liked about the video. What do you enjoy about this game? Some do you play it on? Why do you enjoy it? Just start a little discussion down in the comments. I'm always up to read and reply to you guys. It's probably the best thing about being a YouTuber. But I'm gonna wrap this one up after I've already wrapped this video up probably 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.